Now, we've got a new Superman movie coming. I'm not talking about Supergirl. I'm talking about Man of Tomorrow. And you guys will know that I always refer to it as Superman, Man of Tomorrow. Because while they say, oh, it's not really a direct sequel to Superman, it's a sequel to Superman. I mean, you can try to use whatever semantics you want. It is a sequel to Superman. And I believe for marketing, I've always kind of thought for marketing, it makes most sense to call it Superman, Man of Tomorrow. Well, in the last 24 hours, reports started running around like mad, actually claiming that, yeah, they actually changed the name to Superman, Man of Tomorrow. Now, why is that? Well, this comes to us from Superhero Hype. The speculation about the title change started after Variety published an article detailing Warner Brothers Discovery's future amid its sales to Netflix and Paramount takeover bid. The article labeled the sequel as Superman, Man of Tomorrow, and revealed that production would start in a few weeks. All right. Let's just say that I like it because I myself always refer to it as Superman, Man of Tomorrow. And it could very well be, Rob, you'd be surprised how many writers from Variety often drop notes to me to say they watch. And whenever I bring up like a Variety article,
Sure.
so many times I'll get somebody from Variety who was the author of it saying, "Hey, John, I've been watching your show for years. It was such a kick to see you bring up my article thing." So maybe they got it from me. I don't know. I'm not saying that they did, but I'm saying maybe they got the Superman, Man of Tomorrow thing from me. Now, is this true? Well, as he is off to do, director James Gunn took to social media and responded to somebody asking him about it. And he's saying it's not true. This comes to us from a comic book movie. Still, James Gunn started by debunking reports that the movie's title has been changed to Superman, Man of Tomorrow, explaining that Variety just made a mistake, and the filmmaker said, and he said, "I tried to avoid the colons." Likely explaining why, remember, the first movie was going to be called Superman, Legacy. He changed it to just Superman. And then he also just made the Supergirl title a lot simpler by just calling it Supergirl. So James Gunn has come out and said, no. We have not changed the title. I kind of try to stay away from the colons, all that kind of stuff. Okay. Rob, normally that would be the end of it. James Gunn, not only the director of the film, but the head of DC, has come out and said, no, Variety made a mistake. I still think when Superman, Man of Tomorrow comes out, it's going to be called Superman, Man of Tomorrow. And I'll tell you why. Because from a marketing perspective, which, remember, that's all the title of a film is. Like good title, bad title, whatever. All the title of a movie is yet another tool in the marketing bag. That's really, at the end of the day, that's all it really is. And Warner Brothers, who is going to be the distributor of this movie, I believe between now and we have a long time before this movie ever comes out, I believe Warner Brothers, as the distributor of the film, is going to get into James Gunn's ear. And I ultimately believe, and again, I have no insider information. James Gunn hasn't told me anything. DeLuca and Abdi haven't told me anything. I'm just saying, even though James Gunn right now is coming out and saying they made a mistake, we have not changed the title, and I believe him. I'm telling you right now, I believe, just as a fan speculating like everybody else, I believe that by the time this movie comes out, Warner Brothers will step in, and I think they're going to call it Superman, Man of Tomorrow. Look, you just got started with this new Superman franchise. It's just good branding to make sure you've got that name on it. And you know what? Listen, Warner Brothers just came out of another branding nightmare with their whole HBO Max. No, now it's just Max. No kidding. We're going to put the HBO word back in there. Now it's HBO Max again. They just went through all that. They understand from a marketing perspective, from a branding perspective, It just makes sense to have the name Superman on it. It just does. Is it super important at the end of the day? No. Is it going to make the movie any better or any worse? No, obviously not. But again, Rob, I think that when push comes to shove, Warner Brothers is just going to sit down with Gunn and say, look, as the distributors of the film, we just feel for branding having Superman. So I believe James Gunn when he says we haven't changed the title yet. I believe him. But I also believe there are going to be people at Warner Brothers that change his mind. And I think this will ultimately be called Superman, Man of Tomorrow. Anyway, Rob, you saw the reports and the rumors. You heard what James Gunn had to say. What say you? Are they going to change the title? Is it a good idea to not change it? Is it a good idea to change it? How do you feel about it?
Well, look, I think I'm with you. I think they're going to change the title because the problem is if you're not up on Superman lore, Man of Tomorrow could mean anything.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be anything. It doesn't necessarily tell, I hate to call them normies or mundanes, but the average
muggles.
Audience, the muggles, the average audience member does not necessarily know what that means. And if you have a Superman movie coming out, you want Superman in the title. I mean, you just do. That's your guy. I mean, unless you had a long history or like James Bond movies don't have James Bond in the title because they had a series of books that they're adapting. But Superman is the character. And I think, by the way, I think Superman Man of Tomorrow is a cool title, even if there's a colon or a dash, whatever. I think that's cool. Just like I think The Empire Strikes Back is a cool title. I mean, surrounded by the word Star Wars. So I think that it's going to be called Superman Man of Tomorrow. Because why not?
Yeah.
If I was making a Superman movie, I'd want Superman to be in the title.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And you know what? Listen, to your point, like, I think 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 years from now, once DC is actually now established, because it's not, we always forget this is a brand new studio. This is a brand new cinematic universe. I think once they've been rolling 4, 5, 6 years, at that point, maybe you can start looking at the idea of, hey, everybody knows what our movies are now. We can just call this one. We don't have to call this one Superman, The Origins of Crypto. We can just call it Origins of Crypto.
Right. Yeah,
and by the way, I'm not breaking any news there. I just made that up. But right now, they're reestablishing the entire identity of this cinematic universe. And again, they very well may not. I'm just sitting here as a random fan pulling this out of my ass. I think, and apparently you agree, that by the time this movie comes out, this movie will be titled Superman Man of Tomorrow. So,
by the way, that picture you just had up, I want to see that movie.
Yes.
I want Lex in his battle armor and Superman. I think it'd be great. I can't wait.
Oh, I think it's going to be great. But then again, I love the first Superman movie. So there you go. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Factor. Cold days, packed schedules, and let's be honest, when February hits, staying on track with eating well gets tough. And that's why I love Factor. Factor makes eating healthy deliciously easy with fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs so you can eat well without the planning, shopping, or cooking. One of my main go-to meals lately is their high protein options. You're getting quality functional ingredients like lean proteins, colorful vegetables, whole foods, and healthy fats. Plus, they have over 100 rotating weekly meals, including Calorie Smart, Mediterranean, GLP-1 support, ready-to-eat salads, and even their new Muscle Pro collection for strength and recovery. Everything arrives fresh, never frozen, and is ready in about 2 minutes. All that and more is why I highly recommend Factor. Head to factormeals.com/Campea50off and use the code Campea50off to get 50% off and free breakfast for a year. Eat like a pro this month with Factor. New subscribers only, varies by plan. One free breakfast item per box for 1 year while subscription is active. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, there were some reports going around based on some stuff that Variety wrote and maybe some stuff that I've said that I just refer to the movie as Superman Man of Tomorrow, and I will continue to refer to it as Superman Man of Tomorrow. But it is important to know that James Gunn has come out and said, no, Variety made a mistake. I have not changed the title of this movie. And I believe them. But I think they will. I don't know. Whatever you guys think about this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show Podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.